decided to change things up and go home a few days ahead of schedule. I was up and out the door bright and early this morning, and on my drive through North Los Angeles, I hit what I can only imagine was a piece of a 2x4. Luckily, I kept an eye on my gauges. My oil seemed to be fine. My gas wasn't dropping. So I kept going. And this was my next stop here, the McFly house from Back to the Future. Of course, that puts the street that I'm on, the one where Doc Brown said, "Roads, where we're going, we don't need roads." Unfortunately, I did. So I hit the road and kept driving north. The first stop I wanted to make was in the town of Santa Nella. There's a place there I've been wanting to go for a while, Pea Soup Anderson's. So I did. And when I jumped out of the van, I couldn't help but notice this piece of wood sticking out of the back bumper. It's the one I'd driven over in Los Angeles. It had been there for a little over 3 hours. Didn't stop me. I went in, had some lunch, got me a sourdough bread bowl full of their world famous pea soup, and then I hit the road again, headed towards Oakland. The problem is I couldn't check into my hotel for a few hours, so I decided let's just keep going. And I made my way up to Santa Rosa, went by Boudin's, got something for lunch that ended up becoming dinner. Then I checked out both of the Russian Rivers. This one here is their new one in Windsor. Both of them were quite packed, honestly, so I decided that I would just buy some beer to go. So here in Windsor, I went into their little store, which is really cool. They're on property. Bought a couple cases of Pliny, a couple cases of Blind Pig, and got me a sixer of Consecration and headed back to the hotel to take care of my blisters, which are getting far worse, and to get me some sleep so I can hit it early in the morning. And that's exactly what I did. I was up and out the door by about 3:15 in the morning. The dash cam time here says it's about 2:26, but I know that time's been wrong. So about 3:15, and I hit the road in the darkness. Kind of surprised though, once I actually got on the road a little further after this, it was a lot busier than I thought it would be on a Sunday morning, that time of morning. But I hit the road. I had decided I was going to go ahead and drive all the way home instead of making a stop in between. So I had 818 miles ahead of me. And it was going to be a long one. But I figured if I can get some decent distance under the cover of darkness before traffic gets too bad, I would be okay. I didn't make my first stop until after it was daylight. And I had to get some gas and a little go juice, so I went by a Starbucks, and I was absolutely shocked at the smell of smoke in the air. As you could see from these photos, that's the sun. You could look right at it. There's so much smoke. Mount Shasta here, shrouded in smoke, worse than a couple weeks ago when I was through. But I kept going, got into Oregon. That's when I really started getting a little bit of adrenaline. I knew from that point it's still quite a ways to get home, but I would be able to make it okay. And then I got stuck for an hour in traffic for this accident. Looks like it was pretty bad, as you can see there. Hopefully everybody was okay, but once it opened, I kept going. And then when I hit Portland, I knew it's just basically a commute from their home. So I was quite excited to see that Washington State sign. And by the time I hit Nisqually and could see the beautiful Mount Rainier, I knew I was almost home. And what I had waiting for me at home was worth the long drive.
Who is it, guys? Who is it?
Hey! Hey, yous!
Who's that?
Hey, yous!
Who's that?
16 days on the road, 4,038.8 miles, all of them worth it, but I was home.